hello, and welcome to Tales of the Uncharted
Territories. Okay, so we're in the middle of Infinite Possibilities.
Intermission time.
Yes. In the middle of an exciting trilogy, we have to sort of tide ourselves over until the thrilling conclusion. So this seemed like a good time to do what we always did in the middle of these trilogies, which is hop on the internet and distract ourselves with other fellow Farscape
Writing
fans.
fanfiction. Speculating on the forums.
Oh my goodness, I got super excited there.
Oh.
Yes, lots of that. So I've actually been sitting on some recommendations. You remember how I keep asking for fanfic recommendations, and people did send some, and I've sort of been sitting on them for ages.
But we've not been far enough along in the story for them to be safe for K.
Yeah, or like somebody sent us a book, or we got some magazines to read. But I've been excited for these, because today we have 3 short ficlets, so we'll see how that is to entertain us. And the first one was sent to us by Kernezelda. Kernezelda has written one of the previous fanfics that we've written.
Oh, very nice.
Very prolific writer and still active on the Terra Firma forum boards where you are not allowed, Kay.
No, I know. I don't.
I sort of feel like Mufasa pointing out the Shadowlands to Simba. Not there, not that.
You don't go to that bit, yes.
Yes. And so the first one is, let me see, that's My World by Thea, first published in 2003. Which is, it's on Schriftweb.
Yes. The summary is, what if the uniform didn't matter?
Oh.
First season and UR challenges? What's UR?
Oh, I don't know.
He says, trying to keep his face straight.
Yeah, I'm actually, Okay. I wonder if maybe I'm going to have to pull the brakes at some point. They've promised me that it's safe for K, but I'll either, like...
Okay.
I'll pull an air horn or yell something if we have to. Yeah, exactly. And it's a Farscape Friday drabble. Drabble. I wonder what that is.
Keep coming across that word, yes. Standard cat, car, computer, shoes, books, and student loans. Want them? These are obviously not my characters.
Oh, good grief.
That's a weird disclaimer, but anyway.
I think they're describing exactly what lawyers could potentially claim from them.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Which is about... Sounds about right.
Cat, car, computer, shoes, books, yeah. So it's My World by Thea. The uniform may not have fit, but the attitude is snug and comfortable. The gun rests firmly on her hip, and the pull of muscles in her arms feels so right. Crichton has set the DRDs to give a demonstration of force should it become necessary, and he is standing point, looking a little nervous and overwhelmed by the pulse cannon. But he holds on tight, angling his neck a little to relieve some of the pain in his jaw. She didn't think she'd ever have to hit him again after the tabloids, but this was an emergency. The Luxon is in chains, the Hynerian throneless, and the Delvian chanting mournfully in her cell. Erin blinks, clearing away the distance, and thinks to herself, names. They all have names. They are your comrades.
I know where this is. Do you recognize it?
Not right off.
Oh, I bet this is the opening scene of A Bug's Life, when they're dressed up, Erin and John, as PKs, and you've got those commandos.
I see what you mean. Yes, that makes sense.
The Marauder team enters the base. See, there you go.
Yes,
oh, look.
Yes.
Awfully big ship for one little girl, Captain Sun. She tilts her... I don't think that was...
That's probably Larac.
Yeah, but he didn't know her name, and she's not a captain, because...
Oh.
Remember,
well,
she said, it's a terrible shame that the captain's uniform didn't fit me.
No,
okay,
good point.
Well, let's see where we go. Captain Sun, she tilts her head, the DRDs fire, Crichton stands his ground, and the illusion holds. She feels the power vibrate through her and can't keep the smile off her face.
Larac's mouth on her neck is cool, his hand on her waist tight and bruising. He has none of Crichton's heat, but a touch of the gentleness. Her world, her rules, cool and smooth, and rough sex against the wall of her chamber. She catches the eye of the thieving little Nabari Tralk through the grill, and something clicks into place. She pushes Larac away regretfully. He smiles in understanding. Duty first, and they go off to hunt.
Crichton is hanging around the cold, blonde lieutenant. Ooh, what was her name again? The one with the nice lips, I think he said. She's some sort of medical worker, and her lips tighten into whiteness at the news that someone has touched the container. Hassan, that's her name.
Oh, yeah.
With a signal from Larac, she explains the situation. Intelligent virus, death, corruption, and Erin will not be taking her ship to a Frelling Gamak base. Wait, I think this is
No, it's the intelligent virus, so it must be Bug's life.
Yeah, but I think this is like an alternate telling. I think the Captain Sun wasn't a mistake because... Oh, look. So she punched him.
Yeah.
And... Yeah, Crichton is standing point. In the original episode, she was standing point.
Yes.
And then Crichton walked in. So maybe she's wearing the captain's uniform this time.
Okay, yeah, let's go with that. Where are we?
Crichton is close behind her.
Oh yes, Crichton is close behind her. She can sense him, hear his breathing, feel his heat, equal to hers in the Sebastian body. She turns rapidly, forcing her forearm under his neck, slamming him into the wall, but he must have been paying attention during those sparring lessons because he lashes out, kicking and hitting. She falls and he drops to his knees over her, his body snapping back as the virus passes into him.
Rigel calms Zan, who comes running, but it's too late. Crichton and Lorak in the maintenance bay with the hammer and Colonel's green and...
and the pulse cannon.
Sorry, Crichton and Lorak in the maintenance bay, staring down the barrels of their respective guns. Mexican standoff, says Crichton, and winces as she fires, Lorak's blood splattering him. The body drops to the ground.
They fix the cesium leak, sending the remaining 2 commandos into space. Let's blow this popsicle stand. Let's blow this popsicle stand, says Crichton, and she barely bothers to raise an eyebrow at him. Ooh,
whoa!
That is short and violent.
Yeah! What are these drabbles? I love it!
Oh, I don't know.
Thank you for that recommendation, Kernezelda, and thank you to Thea, who published it in 2003. We've got another one, also submitted by Kernezelda, from 2011, so I've got the air horn ready once again. This one's called Fun Sun Gun by Feldman.
It is not rated, and the creator chose not to use archive warnings.
Oh, I wonder if this is related to... Do you remember how the first part of Infinite Possibilities, which is called Daedalus Demands?
Yes.
Very good, Kaki. Started off with Erin learning her letters.
Yes.
Learning English words.
Oh, yes.
And the first one was n.
Yes.
And the second one was n. So maybe they also had n.
Yeah. Well, this is set during Nerve or Hidden Memory.
Oh, okay.
I am Stark, said the Bannock, and right off the bat, keep your side of the cell, stay the hell off my mat. Okay. That seems to be the summary for this story. Fun Sun Gun by Feldman.
4 FBF. One hot afternoon in the Gamak moon base, a Bannock lay napping, a mask on his face. Oh no, this is a poem.
Oh dear.
This Bannock lay napping when into his cell a new chump was dumped, who lay where he fell. Who this slumped chump could be, there was no way to tell.
This is going a little bit Dr. Seuss.
It is! I love it! I love it!
The chump sprawled out flat on the floor made of stone, and he moaned as the chill seeped up into his bones. The Bannock knew now was the time to be firm. At the start was the part for the rules to be learned.
I am Stark, said the Bannock, and right off the bat, keep your side of the cell. Stay the hell off my mat! He marked out the cell with a slide left and right. He called out the sides. With a back-and-forth glide, he divided the cell so his side had more light.
The chump slumped against the cold-walled inner ball. The chump had a paw, it didn't look good at all. He was awfully impaired. He asked how Stark fared. Love the chair. It leaves no wear and tear.
This rhyming scheme is brilliant. While the chump... God, that's going to be his nickname now, isn't it?
The chump, yes.
While the chump lay passed out, Stark worked on escape and was startled to find the chump watching, agape, shocked by the eyes of the spy on his hands and how Stark's grand attempt was dismissed with a pan. The mechanics won't work, so Stark told off the jerk. I'm a man with a plan, while you sit on your can.
You're not really this mad, perhaps only a tad, said the chump, who was not so much cad as lost lad. Stark replied, when insane there's no so much pain. Sane or no, Stark was alone after the goons came again.
The second time, though, was as bad as the first. It left the lad sadder and looking much worse. This time, when he slumped at the wall of the cell, a voice called out clear like the chime of a bell. It promised escape, should the chump kiss and tell.
The chump made it back, alive and astonished. Beyond your endurance, the Bannock admonished. Past what he could bear, the lad tried to tell of more pell-mell schemes to break out of this hell. In the well of the cell, the lad couldn't be quelled.
Stark was aware of the stare and the panic. The lad was as manic as Scorpius satanic. The Bannock knew well the effects of the chair, so he cared for the lad, shared his mat, pet his hair. even dared bare his head and show off what was rare.
The light of a sun peeked out from the mask, and its warmth eased the lad into quite a long nap. The dull lull interrupted by a yell in the hall. 2 goons filed in, one well-armed and tall. Her swift rifle butt caused the flunky to fall.
The dull lull interrupted by a mole with a gun. Nothing to mull. Pull up and run. Here's a gun. Join the fun. When we're done, freedom won. The chump, it turned out, had his own kind of son.
Yo. And the dedication is for my brother and for Theodore Seuss Geisel for Horton Hears a Who.
I love this. I don't know if I can favorite it any more than this. I wonder if there's any comments on it.
I'll let you have a look at those and
yes,
avoid,
very good. This interface doesn't apparently show them, but wow. So thank you to Feldman. Gosh, we're going to have a look and see if they've done anything else. This is brilliant. And thank you to Kernezelda for recommending it.
Speaking of Kernezelda, the next one is by Kernezelda.
Yes. Recommended to us by Mystery Tour 7, a listener and who has contributed something recently that we'll see coming up in upcoming Tales of the Uncharted Territories.
The tale is called Bannock Drabble, so here you have the Drabbles again, and it summarizes 3 Drabbles and a longer piece. Note, there was some speculation on my live
I was trying
journal.
to think if there was some sort of dirty combination there, the 3 Drabbles and a longer piece. Maybe that's what the standard configuration of Mivonks is in the galaxy.
Could well be. Who knows? I mean, a pair and a spare, as they say.
It was a bit of a stretch, but that's Mivonks for you.
Yes. So there was some speculation on my live journal, I assume that's Kernezelda's, about how Bannocks might have evolved. Astrogirl posted a neat little Drabble on her live journal, and I said I'd give it a whirl.
Okay, so chapter 1, this is one that's sort of divided into chapters. There's a link to the live journal that I probably should have prepared. Let me see if I can just open that. How did Erin get John into her prowler in Throne for a Loss? This may throw off their idea. Okay, so there's a bunch of questions here. On the live journal, like what canon reason could there be for Nabari to have red gums, tongues, and inner mouths? And do other parts correspond? Rude. Delvians dreamed this morning of a weird crossover with Farscape and Angel. Wow, this sounds fantastic. Okay, no, we're not reading the rest of that. I see some words that are not safe for K. And I wonder if the ficlet, Astrogirl had
I can't actually find it, because I click on chapter 1 and it just drops me back in the same page and there's nothing there.
Yes, but there's a few links on that chapter 1. So chapter 1 says summary, Bannock discussion, and then there's 2 links underneath.
Oh, and...
so avoid the first one. I'm going to take a look at that ficlet. Yeah, let's start with that one. So first we're going to start off with Astrogirl's little ficlet.
Okay.
And it's from 2004, and it's called Union.
Yes, I have it here.
Okay.
All right.
Air horns ready, because it's from 2004.
All right.
Yeah, we're really in the Uncharted territories now, aren't we?
Oh, damn, yes, we are. So, Union. Stark's people have a legend. Once, it says, there were 2 races. The first were beings of pure energy, disembodied spirits with cold, glittering minds and no concept of beauty or pleasure or love.
Ooh.
The second were creatures of flesh, soulless and barely capable of thought, but deeply, sensually alive in a way the first race could only dimly comprehend. The legend doesn't tell how it happened, whether there was conscious thought behind it or sheer historical accident, but, however it happened, there came to be a joining between them, a melding, a symbiosis, a holy marriage of body and spirit, and the children of that marriage were the first of the Bannock people. Flesh and energy, energy and flesh, one and inseparable and whole.
He thinks back on this story as he holds the sleeping Zan and contemplates joining himself, flesh and mind and spirit, to a creature so very alien to him.
The thought of it makes him smile.
And that's the conclusion. And she finishes with, actually, I'd still like to see somebody else do something with this idea, as I seem to have pretty much skipped over all the actual interesting specifics. So that must be where these Drabbles come from.
Oh.
Okay, so this is about... this is Kernezelda's responses, that's what these Drabbles are, I guess, to sort of delve into Bannock evolution. Okay. The first one is called Stay, originally posted in 2004.
Okay.
Oh, they are really short. Here we go. The first moment shocks, brutal impact against host's dull consciousness, slide into darkness. Emerge, struggle to comprehend nerves, organs, ceaseless sensory input.
See with physical eyes, smell, hear, touch, taste.
Stardust fades to memory. Dew-cooled grass brushes against warm skin. Blood pumps through veins. Breath fills mouth and nose. Lungs expand, force out laughter. Folds of skin and cartilage capture it. Tiny bones vibrate to bring it back inside. Lips curve, softer than fingers, tickle against shades of green, more shades than have names.
The host's feeble mind is unworthy of its marvelous physical shell.
Stay, just for a while. Ooh, that's fun!
Very nice. That kind of ties in with part of the stuff that it says in the role-playing book about Bannics, how the children born to Bannics are like first born in the spiritual realm,
in the energy state,
and after about a year, with help of the parents, they are guided into a body,
into sort of coalescing.
Yes,
so that's cool.
That kind of touches on that.
All right. On to the next one. I'm curious about these now.
All right, Chapter 3: Sins of the Flesh. Temptation. Explore bodiless
Edit.
Temptation. Explore bodiless every astral plane, yet flesh compels. Frail beings bound to planets, you taste from curiosity and grow drunk on raw sensation.
Challenge. Dip inside, feel, bend flesh and bone around you. Choose to awaken the tiny mind, share all at its gifts, leave when joining threatens your fragile host.
Game. Crack a soul. Tease out secrets. Test perceptions. Force adrenaline through straining bodies. Stretch muscles past tolerance. Nothing is beyond your will.
Bond. Caress the small mind. Show it wonders. Accept its awe, its gratitude. Ride with a light touch. Rest in acceptant flesh. Stay when invited. Ooh.
It almost sounds like a weird kind of possession.
Yeah, right. I think that's what what Kernezelda is exploring. That these first meldings were possessions of this more primitive sort of animal body, and then these are like the, I guess, sort of phases that one of these energy beings goes through as it's bonding.
That seems to make sense. Yeah,
right. It's a bit of a challenge. There's a bit of a game, and eventually a bond. Oh, this is excellent. Next chapter, called Pairing.
Eyes are glowing, Lean points out, bending to retrieve the basket.
Harold. The light flow of energy withdraws. My star soul wraps warmly under my skin.
Lean smiles at me. Stanna, don't stand there staring. Give Harold something to touch.
Harold laughs with me when my wife thrusts the basket into my hand. It's wicker, rough green strands, blue eggs inside, warm and smooth. Harold flares with delight. Lean takes my arm, and we walk back to the house. I stop and turn towards her.
When we draw back, a little breathless from kissing, I laugh again. Your eyes are glowing.
Oh. I wonder if this is the perspective of the sort of the physical bodies.
Probably, yeah. And then I guess the glowing eyes would be like that bright, shiny sun from the...
Right, that this is their acceptance of an energy being, of sort of merging, and then they see this about each other.
Okay, so last chapter is a little bit longer.
Ah, good.
Chapter 5, Birth. The village waited in silence, men working stolidly in fields. Women gathered at Juno's house. Hoarse screams racked the air, shimmering in the dry summer heat.
Oh, sorry, not that horse.
No.
Okay. With the first shrill cries, Juno's man burst into the birthing room. The women formed barricades.
I must see, he insisted, pale and sweating, trying to look past the brown wall. Juno lay white and wasted on the bed. Dark hair lank and wet, a bundle laid on her breast held her gaze.
The women finally parted, and slowly filed from the bedroom. Yemib licked his lips and glanced at the village midwife as she shut the door behind them. Is Juno? His eyes fell at her silent nod. A trembling hand reached for the wrapping and drew it back. Soft keening rose in Juno's throat, then faded away.
The baby's skin glowed, not everywhere, but in ripples and patches, golden waves spilling out endlessly. Yemip's star soul writhed in agony, jumped free of him with a shock of separation.
Whoa.
Jolik danced around the infant, lights flaring in erratic colors and brightness. It spread itself like a blanket above Yunu. Her eyes flew up with desperate need, only to fall as it re-merged with Yemib. It fed him the mindless contentment of the child, the flat touch of Yunu's suddenly halved soul.
Niama is gone, whispered Yemib. Within him, the star soul that had been his other half since youth curled itself tight, cutting off the link that had never been closed before. He sank down to the edge of the bed, took his wife's limp hand in his.
The star soul has merged with the child's flesh, whispered a soft voice behind him. They are not one and one together. He is one alone. A calloused hand took a hard grip on Yemib's shoulder. The midwife waited until his blank face turned towards her.
Junu may recover. Her star soul came later than most. She might remember how to live alone.
But Niama is in our son? He, the midwife had said.
It is not Niama anymore. The hand squeezed harder. It is only your son with one soul, a star soul. Others have survived. They're rare and troubled, with star soul perceptions in mortal bodies. Yemib, your son, will be Stykera, one who sees. Oh,
there we go. He looked at Juno's exhausted, slack face and at the child beginning to feebly wave its tiny fists, light spilling out like water. One who sees, he repeated, and lowered his head into his hands.
Whoa. Okay, so that's a really interesting life cycle.
Yeah.
So for most Bannocs, this combination of physical and spiritual is sort of like the Trill in Star Trek.
Right, yeah, symbiotic relationship. Mm-hmm. And
with a host and a passenger, I guess.
Yeah.
But occasionally, a child is born with whom the mother's passenger just merges.
Yes. Or that might just be the start of the Bannocs. I mean, this is all speculative fiction.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
But this seems to be specifically about Stykera, which is rare among Bannocs, and that's Stark. He has the
right.
Yeah, he has senses and abilities that regular Bannocs don't. This is fascinating. Okay,
Yeah.
It's hard to resist the temptation to sort of plunge into this
and go nerding out about how it's.
I know. See, okay, this is exactly what we needed to tide us over until next week, when we'll be discussing Season 3, Episode 15, Infinite Possibilities, Part 2, Icarus Abides. Yeah, that's the one, Icarus Abides.
Thank you for joining us for Tales of the Uncharted Territories.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Has anybody asked yet what that means?
Nobody. No, they just accept it. Oh, how about this for outro music?
She gives me a
Wait,
woody.
no, not that one.
She gives you
Sorry,
a
wait, stop.
woody.
I meant, that's a weird one to end on. I meant this
well,
one. Okay, here we go. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See, that works.
Yeah, it does.